And welcome back. It's day 3 of Throne of Eldraine spoilers. We had a couple cards show up yesterday, and most of the cards today. So let's just get into it. We have Outlaw's Merriment, basically dealing with the Robin Hood type. 2 white, 1 red, 1 of any color for a mythic rare enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, you choose one of these at random. Create a red and white creature token with these characteristics. You can create either a 3/1 human warrior with trample and haste, 2/1 human cleric with lifelink and haste, or a 1/2 human rogue with haste, and when this creature enters the battlefield, deals 1 damage to any target. Someone said it best. I think it's strictly better MTG. It's a good card. It'd be better if you could actually choose the mode, and that's the one issue. Is that fact, if you are desperately need one of these, now they all have haste, but if you desperately need one of these, say you're a little down on life, producing the 2/1 cleric would actually be the best option because you can get a little life from the lifelink. Say that an opponent has like a 5/3 on the board, and you grab the 3/1. That way you can block the 5/3 and kill it. But instead you get the 1/2. Now, granted, the 1/2 will do a point of damage, but it won't matter. So the randomness of this is a little hindering. However, I still very much like the card. It's a fun card, especially in like the populate decks. I could easily go back into my Naya token deck if I really wanted to. Charming Prince is, so yeah, I like the card. Charming Prince, or not Prince Charming, is 1 white, 1 of any color for a human noble. Actually, no, I don't. Wait, yeah, I haven't spoken about this card yet. I'm saying that because they're showing off the extended art for that card. Yeah, no, this is the first time I'm talking about it. Yeah. Charming Prince is 1 white, 1 of any color for a human noble, 2/2. Enters the battlefield, you choose 1 of 3. You scry 2. Good effect. Gain 3 life. So any one of these is a plus. Gain 3 life. Or exile another target creature you own, return it to the battlefield under your control at the beginning of the next end step. Depending on what enter the battlefield triggers we have, that third one, could be a very good ability. And honestly, it's not a rare card, so you could just use multiples of these multiple times. And, here's the thing. If you've got like 3, there might be an infinite combo you could work out where, let's say, if you, in theory, play 1 in a turn, play 1, then bring out another 2. No, I don't think you can honestly get an infinite combo off. At least not with the 3 of them. But you could still have multiple copies, playing off each other, which could really work off well. Yeah, ultimately, it's a good card. It is. So, yeah, I can say I like it. It's simple, but effectively it gives you options, so that's good. Skullmocker Ogre is 1 red, 3 of any color for a 4/3 uncommon ogre. Enters the battlefield, whenever it deals damage to an opponent, that player discards a card at random, and if the player does, draw a card. So, essentially, yeah, you are causing them to discard. It's a big beater for 4. 4/3 for 4 is a solid card. Making your opponent lose or discard a card when it actually deals damage to them, and then you draw a card. Now, this is all assuming you can actually deal damage to your opponent straight on with this card. Otherwise, it's not going to be able to do anything against blockers. But still, it's a 4/3 for 4, which isn't a bad little just vanilla card in its own right. So it's good card. Scorching Dragonfire, which proves that we will have a dragon in this set. 1 red, 1 of any color for an instant common. Deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker. If that creature or planeswalker would die, basically exile it. Standard card of this variety, and it's a good card. Red decks are going to want to play this card, definitely. Stolen by the Fae, 2 blue, X. Sorcery. Return target creature with convert mana cost X to its owner's hand and create X 1/1 blue fairy creature tokens with flying. As I've kind of heard, a lackluster, in fact, a pretty poor bounce spell, but a really good token spell. And then when you combine it together, by the way, I'm pretty certain this is a rare card. When you combine them together, you're removing something off the field and then replacing it with a certain amount of creatures. Now, obviously, you want to try to save this a little later in the game, at least for something that's at least something that costs 4. I think 3 would be okay, and you're going to need 5 mana for that, which is very doable. 4, I think, is the real sweet marker. It's like, okay, now I'm removing anything that costs 4 is probably a solid threat. For instance, the Skullmocker Ogre. A 4/3 is a solid threat. Then you remove that, you get 4/1/1 flyers in return. They can be used for block and attacking, plus whatever, pump abilities you can. Ultimately, I really do like the card. It will be going in my fairy deck for certain. Sir Elnora, the Clairvoyant. I'm getting the impression that most of the Sirs are probably women, which is fine. 2 blue, 3 of any color. For a legendary creature, its power and toughness are equal to the number of cards in your hand. Its power is equal to the number of cards in your hand. It has a toughness of 4 and a power of star. Enters the battlefield, you draw cards. You're already at minimum having a 1/4 for 5. And spells your opponents control that target this card cost 2 more to cast. So, thinking at it from a bare bones perspective, like, at the minimum, what can you do with this card? You could have, as a 1/4 that costs more to target. That for 5, though, that's not really a good card. Now, that said, if you're playing the right strategy, you could probably have at least 2 to 3 cards in your hand. Immediately comes out, you have 4 to 5 cards in your hand, or 3 to 4 cards in your hand. So you're making a 4/4 for 5 that needs 2 extra to kill it from a target spell. Ultimately, it's not a bad card. I can't really see me using it, though. It's not my taste, but still not a bad card. Getting a lot of the extended art for something like, the Questing Beast extended art looks fantastic. I want me a Questing Beast so bad. Oh, it's so beautiful. But Harmonious Archon, or Archon, I think it's Archon. 2 white, 4 of any color for a mythic rare Archon, 4/5. So right off the bat, flying, Archons fly, playable card. Creatures, non-Archon creatures have base power of 3. 3/3 to be precise. A base power and toughness of 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, you create 2 1/1 white human creature tokens. Now, put this in perspective. All non-Archon creatures have a base toughness of power and toughness of 3/3. It's not just you. If it were just you, holy crap, this thing would be broken. This would be a chase mythic. But as it stands, you're already making everything else powerful. So those 1/1s that enter the battlefield, they're not entering the battlefield as 1/1s. They're entering them as 3/3s, which means between 3 creatures, that means that between 3 creatures, you are getting a base power and toughness of 10, 11. 4 of that flies. So it's a good card. And if you're in a blue-white deck, say if you, Stolen by Fae someone and get 3 to 4 fairies that are now 3/3 flyers, you can start to see where that play really starts to kick in, that crap. On the whole, I really like it. The only issue I have, though, is it's a little bit Godhead of Awe-ish, and I have a Godhead of Awe, and I love it. Except your opponent's actually getting a bit of a benefit. Like with some of these cards, for instance, one of these right here, Beloved Princess, is a 1 white lifelink 1/1 that can't be blocked by creatures power 3 or greater. If your opponent has that on the field and you play the Archon, all of a sudden you made that a 3/3 lifelink that can't be blocked by creatures power 3 or greater. So, which means you just made it so your Archon can't block a 3/3, nor can your humans. None of your cards can. Now, when you play that with it, then you're like, oh no, this is great. But against an opponent with this, no. By the by, it's actually a pretty decent card, all things considered. Or Inquisitive Puppet, which is Pinocchio. 1 of any color for a artifact creature construct, 0/2, enters the battlefield, you scry, or exile it instead to create a 1/1 white human creature token. You immediately can turn it into a 3/3, and when it's about to die, you can just exile it. So, weigh your options with the Archon is what I'm saying. Otherwise, a good card. Trapped in the Tower is 1 white, 1 of any color for an aura. Enchant creature without flying. The creature can't attack, block, and its activated abilities can't be activated. I saw someone said a slightly better pacifism. I'm going to disagree with that because a pacifism can affect all creatures, including flyers. So, yeah. Cards that say creatures without this or with that, or creatures with this or that, I never consider a slightly better version of something. In this case, enchant creature without flying is not, even though it says activated abilities as well, is not a slightly better version of pacifism to me. Because, what are you going to do then against like a dragon or something or an Archon, for example? What are you going to do against that? Because that's not activated. So, yeah, I can't agree with that it's a slightly better pacifism. That said, it's not a bad card. It's a good stall card, definitely. Again, if you're up against flyers, though, you're probably going to be screwed regardless. True Love's Kiss is 2 white, 2 of any color for a common instant. Exile target artifact or enchantment and draw a card. I like what the play protection from the witch. Be careful, dear. Some people deserve their curses. But yeah, it's basically, True Love's Kiss, returning a guy from stone, getting rid of the enchantment artifact that's cursing someone. It's an artifact. It's artifact enchantment removal at instant speed, and you draw a card. 4 is a little tough, but Spinning Wheel is 3 of any color for an artifact, obviously doing with the Tale of Sleeping Beauty. Tap it to add 1 mana of any color for 3 mana, or tap 5 to tap target creature. It's a mono rock, basically, and as a mono rock, it's good. 1 second here. Just checking a couple of the cards. All right, good. Then we have Ginger Brute. Food Golem. It's a gingerbread man. 1 of any color for a 1/1 Food Golem artifact creature with haste. You can pay 1 of any color. It cannot be blocked except by creatures with haste, which is a really interesting little condition. Pay 2, tap, sacrifice this card, and you gain 3 life. Essentially because it's food. This is just a fun way to make... See, this is close to an uncard as you could possibly get without being an uncard, and I like it. It's good 1-drop, honestly. It's got haste, so on turn 1, you can haste in with that. And you can keep making him unblockable because, there's stuff that has haste, but not everyone's going to run stuff that has haste. 7 Dwarves. 1 red, 1 of any color for a 2/2 dwarf. Enters the battle... It gets +1/+1 for each other creature named 7 dwarves you control. Common, by the way. You can have up to 7 copies of 7 dwarves in your deck. Look, if by some miracle you're in the pre-release and you get 7 copies of this, have at it, Hoss. Hey, look, if I can get at least... Honestly, if you can get at least, I want to say, 3 copies of it, if you can get 4 copies, I think you'll actually be sitting pretty good, because that means 4 copies for every other for each other creature. That means they're all getting 3/3s. That means you essentially have 2 mana 5/5s. Plus they're bears. They're essentially just 2/2s with no downside for 2. So it's good either way. Opt gets a reprint. Scry 1, draw 1 card for 1 blue. Always a good card. So yeah. And then we're not quite done with the cards yet. We got 1 or 2 other ones. Righteousness, for example, is an instant white. I believe this is a reprint as well. Target blocking creature gets +7/+7 until that in turn. Really good card. Ariana, first of Lochthwain. I'm gonna guess that's kind of like she's a black creature, 3 black, legendary, rare elf noble, 2/3. Whenever it or another black creature enters the battlefield under your control, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. So right off the bat, when you play it, you're gaining 1 life, they lose 1 life. You can sacrifice another black creature to draw a card. In a black, or at least a black dual color deck, good card. Definitely good card. Outside the black deck, or at least the mono black deck, solid card. It's a good card in the mono black deck, solid otherwise. Because that's the real thing, though. It's the fact that you have to tap and sacrifice another black creature. If you could sacrifice any creature, stick it in whatever black something deck you want. But because it has to be black creatures, you are going to limit yourself with this card a little bit. Last but not least, we don't actually have any other new cards. We just have the actual official translations now for the Royal Saiyans with Will and Ronan. They're Planeswalker. Me and my girlfriend actually, Carrie, when we did the first video this week, briefly mentioned it, but it was in Russian, so we couldn't do anything with the translation. Although, in theory, I could have clicked on it and translated it. But here's the actual translation of the Royal Saiyans. 1 white, 1 white, 1 blue, 1 red, 1 of any color. So 3 mana for a 5 loyalty Planeswalker, Will and Ronan. +1, 2 +1s. Draw a card, discard a card, or target creature goes +2/+0 until the end turn and gets first strike and trample as well. -8, draw 4 cards. And when you do, this card deals damage to any target equal to the number of cards in your hand. Look, 3 mana for a 5 loyalty Planeswalker with, let's be honest, relevant abilities. Let's be honest, relevant abilities. You just happen to have a creature. Now, it doesn't actually protect itself. That's the one thing I'm going to see people probably complain about. But it can pump a creature up with ease. It can draw you a card and discard a card. It starts at 5. That 8 is not hard to get to. Now, I'd wait on the 8, definitely, until you have enough cards to either do a finishing move or something along those lines. But ultimately, hey, look, 8's a good card. It's a really... I mean, is it the best Planeswalker ever made? God, no, it's not the best Planeswalker ever made. I can think of a couple right off the top of my head. Jason the Mind Sculptor was better. Honestly, I think any of the Nicol Bolas's are better than this card. A lot of the Sorens I actually think are better than this card as well. Ral in some of its interpretations. There's a lot of cards that are magic, or there's a lot of Planeswalkers that are better than this card, definitely. However, it's a really good Planeswalker. If I'm going to be honest, I actually think it might be just a little overpowered for its mana cost, if I'm actually going to be honest with you. But that's just my opinion. I could be dead wrong on my opinion, because it's just an opinion. Just like your opinion could also be dead wrong. In fact, I'm going to say it right now. Your opinion is dead wrong. No matter what you think, your opinion is dead wrong. But we think you're awesome. Well, it's dead wrong. You suck. Well, it's dead wrong. That's the thing. No matter what your opinion is. And look, I just dissed myself right there. I have plenty of my viewers who actually say, hey, we really like your stuff. We think you're really good. That's great, but it's just an opinion. You, in theory, could be dead wrong. But just on the flip side of that coin, just because you think you think I suck, you could be dead wrong. It's opinions. By the by, I appreciate everyone that likes me and enjoys watching my content. But thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. That's all the cards for today. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. And ideas for who would win, Star Wars, Superior Magic, what if, anything to do on the channel. Put that in the comments below as well. I'll get to that at some point. So thanks for watching. I'll be back with what if. I might have to bump the who would win to tomorrow, but hopefully I will not. Definitely I'll get what if out in a little bit. Thanks for watching. Later.